Just picked some pickling cucumbers from the garden, and now we're gonna go make some pickles. Let's go. Homemade pickles are so easy to make, require only a few ingredients, can be ready in less than 24 hours, and are absolutely delicious. So let's make them. The first thing you have to do is take 1.5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 2/3 cup of vinegar, and bring it to a gentle boil for about 3 minutes or so, or until the salt has completely dissolved. While you're waiting for the water to boil, you can start prepping the cucumbers. You can cut them into spears or chips or leave them whole, whatever you prefer to do. Just make sure that you buy pickling cucumbers because those will give you the crunchiest results. And when it comes to picking the cucumbers from the garden, if you can't make pickles that day, take the pickling cucumbers that you picked, put them in a jar of really cold water and stick it in the fridge, and that will help keep the crunchiness of the cucumber. You want to cut enough cucumbers that you have to jam it into the jar to fill it. So depending on the size of the cucumber, you might need 3, 4, 5, 6. Next step is to prep the jar. Make sure that it's a clean jar and that you can seal it tightly. I'm just using a traditional canning jar. I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic, and of course you can always add or subtract depending on your taste preference. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and again, add or subtract depending on your preference. I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of whole peppercorns. Again, add or subtract depending on your preference. And then I'm going to take 6 or 7 sprigs of dill. Because these are dill pickles, this is important to add. Again, add or subtract depending on your taste preferences. I didn't actually count out 6 sprigs, I just kind of took a handful. Shove everything into the jar, like I'm doing here. There really is no specific science to doing this. Just push everything down to the bottom. And if you want to add other ingredients, feel free to do so. Okay, so here is where we start adding the cucumbers into the jar. And like I said, you want to really pack it in. So make sure that you really don't have any wasted space in the jar. Mix some of the larger slices with some of the smaller slices so you can really get in all the nooks and crannies. At this point, your water, vinegar, salt mixture should have been boiling for a few minutes and all the salt should have dissolved. The water mixture will be hot, and that is okay. Take that water, vinegar, salt mixture, pour it right into the jar, just like that. And depending on the size of your jar, you may or may not use the entire mixture. Once it's all poured in there, you're basically done. You're going to leave it out on your countertop, wait for the water to get to room temp. You're going to seal it, stick it in the fridge, and in about 24, 36 hours, they should be ready to eat. All right, guys, let's see how the pickles have turned out. All right, as you can see, they've changed color a little bit. The red pepper flakes and the peppercorns have started floating around. And even though it's been less than 24 hours, they should start to taste like a pickle. Super crunchy, and definitely has that pickle taste. The longer you let the pickle sit in the jar, the more of the flavors it will absorb. These can sit in the fridge for about 2 weeks if they last that long. You can give them as a gift, you can eat them yourself, whatever you do, enjoy them.